All right, welcome back to the Welcome to the World of Sports podcast. You already know who it is. Same three from last week. Same three for week 2. You already know, same crew. So we're gonna dive right into it. First order of business, we're gonna jump right into the Monday night football game between the Eagles and the Falcons. Eagles had a chance to seal the deal late in the game. Saquon Barkley dropped the pass to go up for first down, seal the game. He dropped the pass, and then the Falcons ended up going down the field and winning it. Just y'all quick reaction on how y'all think things went.
Well, for me, I feel like the Eagles gave the game away because of their by being aggressive early. They could have just took the points, but that sometimes you just gotta live with it. And I get it, so I can't be mad at it in a moment, but sometimes it can come back to bite you. And in this case, it did also with the mishaps that they had at the end of the game with Saquon drop and the penalty that they had before that they could have scored. So the defense, they secondary looked very, very shaky. So they gotta clean it up. They could continue to be one of the top teams.
I think it was unfortunate that they lost that way, just considering how good of a game I felt like Hurts was having in the beginning of the game, just using his legs and performing in the way that we've seen him perform. But at the end of the day, it's about execution late in the game. And, they couldn't get the pass right to Saquon. And, he had been having a decent game, a pretty good game up until that point, and it turned out to cost them. And I feel like in this situation with Kirk Cousins, this is the reason why they brought him to the team, making this much money is to be able to come through and lead them in these type of moments. And that's what he was able to do tonight.
Yeah, this loss is definitely a loss that's gonna haunt the Eagles tonight. They definitely gonna lose some sleep over it just because they knew they had a chance to seal the deal. I mean, Saquon Barkley, he's one of the most short-handed running backs we have in this league, and to see him drop a pass like that in that crucial of a situation just goes to show, how they let this loss slip away. Then they had a chance, they were driving down the field. They just needed like 15 more yards to get the kicker in the field goal range, and Jalen Hurts throws an interception in the double coverage, which I think was a pretty dumb decision if you ask me. But looking on the Falcons side, like Brax said, that's why they paid Kirk Cousins the money they paid him. I was pretty impressed with him considering how he looked last week and the way he was able to bring his team down the field and execute that game-winning drive. That was just something that I was impressed to see by him. But other than that, like y'all said, Phillies defense got to get better if they want to consider themselves as a playoff team. And they got us coming up next week, and we looking like an absolute buzzsaw right now. So they better get it together. I'm just say that right now. But yeah, man, Philly got to do better on both sides of the ball, executing down the stretch for sure.
I think on more so on the Eagles side, when you look at closing games like this, I mean this is the type of things that you kind of have seen from Hurts in the past. I mean, if you look at some of his regular season games, I think if you take besides that Super Bowl game where I feel like he came and showed up one-on-one against Mahomes going back and forth, but like here lately, especially after that, you'll see late in games he make a bad read and end up being an interception or something like that. I think that's something that he's got to work on. But what do you think, Eddie?
I don't think he has a lot of bad late decisions. I just feel like sometimes he tries to win it all in one play. When sometimes like tonight he didn't have to. He had 20 seconds left. He could have just checked it down, or he could have gave it to the I don't know who exactly it was, but it was a route, crossover route that was under Devontae. So it's just little stuff like that that he got to think about and just better decision making. But I don't think it happens that much in the big games. But
Facts. I feel like AJ Brown not being there really showed itself too because, the, other than Devontae Smith, they didn't really have another receiver that really threatened the Falcons secondary like AJ Brown would. And I think with AJ Brown not being there, that just allowed the Falcons to key in more on Devontae Smith, and it kind of made them harder. It kind of made it harder for them in the passing game to generate something other than Devontae Smith. Um, but moving on, a big anticipated matchup this week: the Saints versus the Cowboys. Saints look like an absolute dominating force coming out of week one. Everybody was saying, well, we didn't play nobody. It was only the Panthers, this, that, and the third. And while people were hyping up the Cowboys because of the performance they put on against the Cleveland Browns last Sunday. And then the Saints just went in there and just absolutely dominated the Cowboys from start to finish on both sides of the ball. So do y'all think that, was it more of a Saints win or a Cowboys loss to y'all?
I definitely think it was more of a Saints win. There's no, I don't just think there's no gimme games in the NFL, So I feel like the Cowboys, even every year they got the hype. I'm not a believer personally, but they got the hype every year. But I feel like the Saints they came out and just showed that they have some good spots that they have, and definitely Kamara, which yeah he torched me personally with the fantasy and all that, but they just show like they have some guys on the team and they can be. I ain't gonna say a playoff team. That might be a stretch, but sorry, John, but none personal, just business. But they can be a competitive team. So I think the defense is good. It's pretty solid. So I feel like the offense can continue to play at this level, then they might can be a playoff team and make a run.
Um, I think definitely it was a Saints win. Like you said, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect them to come out and blow them out. If you look at me and John's picks, you can see I did not pick the Saints this week, and it may be a uncommon thing if it leads to win. So I might just keep doing it until y'all lose. But um, in this situation, I feel like it's two sided. You look at the Saints, you look at the game that they had. You're facing a team that's on a roll. Their offense was clicking, and it showed no sense of no sense of decline from the week before. They literally scored six straight touchdowns on their first six drives. Pretty much every drive that they had in the game, besides that one drive with Carr throwing a pick, it led to points. I mean, that's the formula for disaster when you're talking about a team on the other end. Like I don't think the Cowboys were playing that bad on offense, but I think that the defense was struggling to stop, the Saints offense, and I think they used some of their strengths against them. Like you don't want to, just run straight at the Cowboys defense because they have athletic people. So you kind of just give them some things to look at, a lot of different motions across the field, things for them to kind of get discombobulated, and then you hit them with a screen pass to Kamara and it goes long, like things like that. I think Clint Kubiak really put on a masterclass in this game.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna agree with y'all, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it was more of a Saints win because, quite frankly, I'm not about to sit here and waste my time on this episode going on about the Cowboys just because that's just something I'm not just about to do. But so I'm gonna go ahead and break down some things I was impressed by with the Saints in yesterday's win. I like the way that we ran the ball against the Cowboys. I like the way that we came out and we just we had our foot on the gas from start to finish. I like the way that Shaheed is starting to emerge into a number two receiver. Derek Carr has been looking real well. I think that this offense really suits him. It really fits well with his skill set, and it helps him make the right decisions. I think that Clint Kubiak has made the biggest impact as far as offseason additions because if you just go back and look at the offense we had last season, we really couldn't do much or nothing. It was pretty much a basic offense. We didn't use no motions, we didn't use no tactics to like get the defense offset. And now that you see what Clint Kubiak is doing, that's pretty much all his offense is predicated on, trying to get the defense to move their eyes with the motions and stuff. So I'm really impressed about that. And as far as the defense goes, I mean, I already knew what our defense was to begin the season. It was the offense that I had questions about. So, like Eddie said, if the offense can keep playing like this, I mean, I think that we can be a real contender in the NFC. I already think that we're a playoff team, considering what I'm seeing from other NFC teams. I mean, I don't see why we can't compete, with the top of the top as far as Philly, in Dallas, because I mean, we right up there with them. San Francisco lost to Minnesota this week, so I mean, anybody can be had in the NFC. And I just think that if we keep playing the way we playing right now, we could see the Saints in the Super Bowl in New Orleans for sure.
Whoa, I think that's a bold claim to
Go
make two
ahead and
weeks
say it
into the
right now.
season. I ain't gonna lie about
I'm
that,
gonna
but
go
I
ahead and
will
say
say
it
I got
right now. 2 weeks, 1 week, 0 weeks, we gonna be in the Super Bowl.
That's that Saint delusion. That's the delusional Saints fan right there, Dave. Feel me? I was with you. I was with you. Then you said that, man.
Hey man, hey, what I told Braxton the other night, we're gonna shock the world, and I'm gonna continue to say it. I'm gonna continue to
You
say
shock
it.
me.
Continue to have it.
I got I got two things to say on it though. One thing is I think Alvin Kamara showed why he should have already been paid
Yeah,
weeks ago, months
I want to
ago,
say something about
and
that.
with four touchdowns, that's not something that you see very often at all. But also, I think it's a combination of him being as great as he is, and then also coming from another coach who's in that like Shanahan tree and Clint Kubiak, the same type of offense that unlocks a player like Christian McCaffrey. The same things to unlock a player like Alvin Kamara. When Alvin Kamara was getting drafted and things like that, like, or if you look at the player comps and in the league, like him and McCaffrey kind of like are right there as far as how they are utilized in offenses and their strengths. So I think that was shown on full display. And then also with the Cowboys, I think the only thing I would tank this down the win about, no excuses. They are a great home team. But if we look into this season and the moves that the Cowboys made, I mean, we nobody really thought they made any good moves. They kind of just brought back the same team. So I think we expected it to be a good game because of that star on the helmet. But other than that, I mean, it's still the same trash from last year, if you ask me. So
Yeah, they definitely didn't get any better signing Ezekiel Elliott to come back and be their starting running back. Running back who's years away from their prime. And as far as what you said about Alvin Kamara, couldn't agree more, man. Like I think this year is really gonna be like I won't say a breakout year, but it's gonna be like a comeback year for him because the last couple of years haven't been what we're accustomed to seeing from him. And just through 2 weeks so far, he's lit up the league. So I think that him being in his offense will definitely, help him return back to form and get that contract, that he's hoping to get. But
yeah, I think that contract might get done within the next week. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna.
hey, that's what the buzz is like. They look.
No, that's not the inside scoop, but that ain't. I think it'll be. It's only right. You go and ask a running
Yeah.
back. I mean, your running back goes and asks for a certain amount of money, and then he go second game of the season and score 4 touchdowns. I mean, it would be sad if he do all of this, and then at the end of the season we don't have anything shirt up. That's what I'm saying.
I tell you what, he making it real hard for them not to give him that bag. Like they ain't gonna be able to. If he keep playing like this, it's no way they not gonna be able to not pay him, bro. Like it's no way. But in the 3 o'clock window yesterday, Bengals and the Chiefs squared off. Always a classic matchup because they always got some chirping going on back and forth between the two teams. So in the game yesterday, the Bengals pretty much kept up with the Chiefs. It came down to the wire. And the Chiefs ended up pulling out the victory after a late pass interference call that helped the Chiefs get in the field goal range and seal the deal. Everybody on social media has been saying, the refs have been helping the Chiefs win games. When it comes down to situations like this. Do y'all agree with that? Why and why or why not?
No bias. I feel like the refs definitely played an impact in the whole game. But on that last call, I have to say that it was a pass interference. He got there before the ball got there, so that was a right call to make. They could have kept it, but they're just doing their job on that play. But throughout the game, there was some calls that were made that was very Chiefs calls and going their way, which is expected because they're the like a teacher's pet, and the refs love him, so can't get mad. I guess hate it, man.
I, I don't understand why you have such animosity and hatred and just dislike for what is great. You know, you claim to be this big LeBron fan and you like all of this. No time out. Let me
Hey,
finish.
hey,
Let me
hey,
finish. Let me speak.
huh?
You claim to be this big
Nah,
LeBron fan and all of this. That's the thing, greatness. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. We know what it is. Now, in this game, I will admit, he did not play his greatest game, turnovers and things of that nature. I mean, one of the interceptions was just absurd. We ain't ever seen nothing like that. But well, we've seen some crazy stuff like that. But that caught me by surprise. But anyways, I'll say this: I think Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like they play this team better than any other team that they play. Like, I mean, because you go from last week, they played against the Patriots, and they didn't look nothing like this. But they come and play against the Chiefs. I think it's just a good matchup, and I think these two teams will battle for a long time. But I think in the end, it's going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. The ball was high. It didn't look like it was going to get to the man. Why go up in there and get excited and go and run up into the player because you thought you was going to win? Like you got to make those right plays because you know it's the slightest thing that they're going to give Mahomes to win. Literally, we look at the two first wins that this team has. It's literally by an inch, a toe, and a flag. Like it's those minute things that make the difference in him winning those games.
Yeah. I don't really have much to add. I mean, it's Pat Mahomes, bro. We already know that he's always gonna find a way to get his team a victory. They're just that team. Teams are they're at the point where teams are hyped to beat them. Like teams look forward to beating them. So like teams are more vulnerable to making bonehead mistakes, like we seen yesterday, trying to secure a win against Pat Mahomes, and he just always finds a way to put his teams in positions to win, even when Travis Kelsey isn't performing at his best. You know what I'm saying? Then you look at people like Rasheed Rice, who's been stepping up in a major way. But I think that the loss of Pacheco, going on IR is going to be big for them, even though they got some P. Ryan, to back up. And then I also seen some earlier that Kareem Hunt is going to be taking a visit with them, I think, tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see if they bring him back. But other than that, I don't really have much to add about it. I mean, I don't think the refs are helping them win. Like Eddie said, if you go back and look at the play, he definitely got there before the ball. So I mean, that's the right call. You can't get mad at the refs for making the right call. It just is what it is. But my question to y'all, how much do y'all think Pacheco going on IR is going to affect them in the long run?
I definitely think it's gonna give them a huge hit because they was already slim at the running back, and all they had was Pacheco. Even with Clyde being out, they got the rookie still, but he's like a fullback, and he's not really the second bait type of guy. So I definitely think they're gonna have to be more creative, which Andy Reid is great in doing. But just far as just handing it off, I think it's gonna be real hard for them now without Pacheco back there.
Um, I'm honest. I honestly don't think it'll be that much of a big deal. Andy Reid will find a way, and that defense, I think they'll figure some other things out too to make it to kind of balance it out because you know they've lost players before. They like people have went down, and then next thing you know, it's some young new player that's doing some things for them that you wouldn't have expected. So like, I don't really players can come and go for the Chiefs. It don't really change as long as 15 there. I used to say 87, but he looked like a totally different player. And but so as long as 15 is there and Andy Reid is there, I think they'll be fine.
And as far as the
Oh, and hold on, one more, and Taylor Swift there too. Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. Wow, bro.
Bro, y'all gotta understand. If Taylor Swift is in the building, they ain't gonna lose. It's too much money there. Too much money.
as far as the Bengals go, are y'all concerned, or do y'all feel like it's just another slow start like we've been seeing over the last 2 years? I think Joe Burrow is like 1-9 over the last two. I mean, 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2 as the Bengals starter.
I just don't think the Bengals are good early, and that might be some teams, this persona. So how they always pick it up throughout the season. So I think it's gonna be the same trend this year. I think nothing different. Then they're not healthy. They still got T out, so I think we all know the league know what they is with T. So once he get back, I think we'll see a better offensively for sure because everybody just can't key in on Jamar. Even they had the easy, I don't know how to say his name, but he stepped up to the plate Sunday.
I know
So
you.
yeah, so I think we'll definitely see a different team in a couple weeks with this Bengals team. But yeah, I think they're fine.
I think it's too many things to overcome at this moment. You're down 0-2, and you got players hurt. You got players disgruntled with Jamar Chase. I mean, he literally crashed out on the field. Like, I mean, what are we
No,
doing?
The hip
No, no,
drop,
no,
like,
no, no,
I
no, no.
no,
No,
we're
I'm
not
not.
doing
I'm
that.
not. I'm not disrespecting Jamar. Jamar's my guy.
thought it
I'm
was a
just
hip drop
saying.
No,
tackle.
that's fine. Come on,
And
bro. He saw a
it
tackle and
was
then on the ankle.
it was illegal. It was illegal. But at the end of the day, you was about to. I mean, it turned what could have been a third and 5 to third and 22. Like that changes the whole game. Like you can't allow that type of stuff. And I know I seen Joe trying to get him together, but hey, that man is far gone. His mind is on the money. All right, and until y'all pay him that money, he ain't gonna be right. So I mean, y'all gotta figure some other things out to keep him calm because that ain't gonna do it.
Going down in the AFC North Division up there in Baltimore, the Ravens had a lead, up on the Raiders in the fourth quarter. Then Gardner Minshew led the Raiders to some, touchdown drives to help them get back in the game. The Ravens have not looked good through 2 weeks. Really, on running the ball, which is, what they're known for. Is it time for us to start being concerned about the Ravens?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they healthy up front, especially at the exterior. I don't think they got all the pieces that they had last year. So I don't think we can't just go off the deep end right now, especially with Lamar back there. So Derrick Henry and the offense when he out there, I feel like it's regular, like it's still a threat, but they've never been that type. Well, since for a while, they haven't been that type to just run a gun. They always been like on the move type of game style. So I don't know, man. It's a little shaky right now, and I feel like they got to do something different right now just to get them back going. Because Lamar, even come off the first game, I feel like he was amped up just to play that game, just all the eyes on that. So I feel like he got up for that moment, and then he probably came back down a little bit. So I feel like they need to get back to that point so they can be back competing.
I feel like you would be looking at this totally different if had they won that first game, and like I said, I mean, maybe they got the if he got the foot in or whatever, and they be 1-1 at this point. Would you feel any differently? Like, I mean, it's still a good team. I feel like maybe the Raiders. Let's give the Raiders some credit. I mean, I think his name's Antonio Pierce, their coach. He's not a slouch of a coach. He's got this team playing inspired football. So I'm gonna give the Raiders some credit that they came up with a plan and it worked for a good portion of this game. And I think once you play against Lamar a couple times, like you can kind of figure out some things to stop him. So I think, hey, they got a lot of gelling to do, especially adding Derrick Henry too. So I'm not gonna overreact. Definitely not with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't think it's time to start panicking. I do feel like they got to start finding a way to make the running game with Derrick Henry more effective because I feel like when Derrick Henry's in the game, teams already know what they're gonna do, so they stack the box against them. Because nine times out of 10, when Derrick Henry's in the game, Baltimore is running the ball, and when he's not in the game, they're passing it because then they bring in Justice Hill. So they gotta mix it up. They gotta make it, you know, not so predictable in a way that where people know that when Derrick Henry's in the game, they're gonna run it. But I mean, other than that, I have no concerns. They're gonna figure it out. I got them in the same boat as the Bengals. I just can't see, Lamar and Joe Burrow. They're just too good of like they're two good quarterbacks, great quarterbacks actually. So I just can't count them out and say that they're gonna be done because they had two shaky weeks. They're going. I feel like, especially the Bengals. We used to seeing the Bengals get better as the season progresses. So I'm not too worried about either one of those guys for sure.
Yeah, I think their offensive coordinator got like a lot of praise last year for kind of like unlocking Lamar's passing game and things of that nature. But like I look at it like this: if this was anybody others, if any other coordinator or anybody else that like had these two weapons, you got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, like. Can we get a little bit more creative with some of the things that we're doing? Like I think you see, like you said, you put Derrick Henry out there and you know what's coming. Well, maybe use him in some other ways that kind of like keep him on the field, but use him in some other ways that make it a little bit more like make the defense have to question what's going on. So like you have the talent, just figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. We got a quick take before we go to break. It was announced today that Bryce Young, Bryce Young, man, is getting benched. Week 2, year 2, man. Probably one of the fastest we ever seen a number 1 pick get benched ever, man. Week 2 or year 2. How do y'all feel about Bryce Young being benched? Do y'all feel like it's fair or foul?
I definitely think it's a little early to put a plug on, bro. So I'm gonna say fall. Just keep it short and sweet. If I was a coach, I would have waited till week 5 or 6. But I guess they saw enough in the first 2 weeks to say, Andy Reid, I mean not Andy Reid, Andy Dalton, go give it a shot, buddy.
Man, I don't see how you could say that, bro. I mean, we've seen literally a whole season of this already. If I'm the GM, the coach, and the GM didn't even make this decision. The coach made the decision. In this situation, I mean, you know how hard it is to say as a coach, we drafted you number 1 overall. We're gonna put you on the bench. Like you know how ASS you got to be for that type of situation to happen. Like you are the future, and we just are abandoning our future for Andy Dalton of all people. Like that's a whole nother level of trash. And then you got to look at the rankings. They rank like 29 or 30 in all categories offensively. Like something's got to give. And I think you put Andy Dalton in the game, he can at least win you a couple. I mean, he actually might hurt your chances because he'll be better. So like I think it could almost backfire in a way. So I mean, hey, I think you had to put him down, sit him down, make him think about it. He came in here, he was gifted this offense. He was gifted the reins to do whatever he needed to do, and he showed that he can't do any of it. So it's time to move on, earn your spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. I just gotta say, I feel like it's a two-way street. The Panthers didn't really, going back to last season, they didn't really put the necessary pieces around Bryce Young for him to succeed. I mean, the offensive line was horrible. His weapons on the outside were horrible. Other than Adam Thielen, I mean, Adam Thielen was his best receiver last year. And then, I mean, you look coming to this year, they kind of got better with putting pieces around him. They went out and they got Deontay Johnson, and still got Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders, those type of players. And but what I've seen from Bryce Young is, he's been inaccurate, and in the NFL, teams have a short leash for quarterbacks who are inaccurate and can't, lead the team down the field. So I mean, it's a two-way street. I hate to see that this has happened to him, but I don't feel like his NFL career is over. He's gonna get another chance somewhere else if it doesn't work out in Carolina. But yeah, for me, it's just a two-way street in this situation.
I think we have to redefine this number 1 pick thing because when you become the number 1 pick, it's well known you're going to a team that's trash. Like, so maybe he wasn't the number 1 pick. Like, if you can't overcome those type of things, you're not going to be gifted a team or offense that's going to have all of these weapons and all of these different things around you. Like, that's the reason why we were bad. That's the reason why we have this number 1 pick is because we were trash. So you have to reevaluate which quarterbacks you're going to take in those number one picks, or else you're going to end up in situations like this. Like, thank God my Texans did not pick, he didn't fall to my Texans, because then we'd be dealing with this situation. So you have to reevaluate who is the number one pick. Bryce Young was clearly not the number one pick.
All right, y'all. Time for the best part of the show, the Black Spotlight. I start off with Nathaniel Dale. Y'all may not know him as Nathaniel, but everybody should know him as Tank. Tank is he had a rough week this week, man, with the Texans, but I'm gonna stick beside him, man. The Tank got to stay together, you feel me? So I'm gonna rock with my boy, and he go have a great rest of the season. He'll get the ball in his hands, and he'll make something safe. That's my Black Spotlight. Go ahead, Brax.
Yeah, gotta love Tank. Like you said, I mean, wasn't his best week, but I don't completely blame it on him. I think it's just a lot of gelling that needs to be done with the Texans team, or as far as offensive wide receivers and things of that nature. But this week, my Black Spotlight was kind of for something that happened last week, but we never really touched on it on this platform. But Shannon Sharp, we all know what happened. He was on live by mistake, and things were heard, noises,
Thanks, bro.
sexual noises, some things that you whisper to your girl when you lay up under the pillow at night. And I think it's crazy, like we seen what happened to Paul Pierce and him getting fired and things of that nature. Shannon Sharp said, "Hey man, I can do both. I can go be a freak on live and still talk on ESPN." So I think that's pretty cool. And then for him to actually flip it, I think that's cool. No homo. I think that's cool. It's cool to get away with it. But then I also say, like, it's kind of cool how he, like, usually in these type of moments people be like, "Oh, I'm hacked and shit like that." But he owned it. He said, "Hey, I get it in." So hey, that's what you want to see. People taking accountability for their fuck ups. They mess up. So yeah. Shannon Sharp, my Black Spotlight.
Woo, boy.
I'm gonna bleep it out.
I don't bleep it out. Keep it in.
Oh man. My Black Spotlight this week. Oh, by the way, fellas, y'all had some good Black Spotlights, good choices. My Black Spotlight this week is none other than Alvin Kamara. He had a spectacular performance against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, 4 touchdowns. He looked like his old self again. Kind of reminded me of the time when he went for 6 touchdowns on the Minnesota Vikings on Christmas Day. That was vintage Alvin Kamara, and he just, through the last 2 weeks, continues to show and continues to, instill confidence into me why he continues to be my favorite player in the league. And I just can't be more proud of him, man. I feel like a proud dad watching my Saints. Man, it's been a long time coming since Drew Brees been gone, bro. I've been waiting on this for a long time, and we finally look like a decent team. So I'm proud about that, and I just want to give my flowers to Alvin Kamara. Keep doing your thing, and the bag will be yours shortly for sure. Good show, fellas. Thank y'all for watching. We're gonna be back next week. Keep a lookout on Instagram. Gonna be posting our picks on Sunday. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Eddie said he was gonna get in on the picks and he didn't get in.
I'm gonna let y'all have it, bro, because it's already 2 weeks. So I'm gonna let y'all have it, bro. I'm just gonna be like the commentator.
Yeah, to me, But yeah. And the last words, fellas, before we sign out.
Yeah, next week.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the world of sports. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all next week. You don't want to miss it. We out.